start installing our panels, you can see I've already installed one of them. One thing that I found that works quite well for installing the panels after your first one is to take some CD cases and stack them up, and this will space out your panels. This panel here that I'm installing is the bubble trap, so you want that about an inch away from this other panel here that we've already installed. So 2 CD cases work pretty well for that. We'll take our next panel and slide it in, snug up against the CD cases. I have 4 CD cases stacked up on the bottom so that this panel here goes all the way up to the top of the aquarium. Check it with our square. We're good right there. Check the other side. We're good there. And now what I'm going to do is put a small dot of super glue on the back corner, and then another one on the front right here. It's going to hold the panel in, and then we are going to take our silicone sealant and we are going to seal the panel up on both sides. I want to let that super glue sit for just a couple minutes and set up. If you don't want to use super glue to hold the panels, you can take a small piece of masking tape and tape it onto the top of the panel. Make sure that you keep it square, and down over the side of the tank like so. You want to do it on the other end here also. This isn't going to hold it as well as the super glue will, but it doesn't work bad. And we can start siliconing the panel. Going to start on the bottom, get into the corner real nice. And lay one continuous bead all the way from the bottom to the top of the panel. Now you want to continue on all sides. Front edge on both sides, and then on the back side back here. Apply a bead of silicone to both the front and the back, and because this one's going to be on the bottom of the tank, it's very important that we run a bead of silicone along the bottom. If this is not sealed up perfectly, the water is going to seep in, and it's only going to allow the water level to get only to wherever your leak is, and that's all the higher it's going to go. Prior to installing the very last and final panel, which is right here, I went and installed the protein skimmer that I'm going to use into this area here to make sure that I was going to have enough area once I put the panel in. Didn't want to put the panel in and then find out that we didn't have enough room for the skimmer. So this looks good right here. Now it's time to glue and silicone seal this final panel in place. And there's the last bead of silicone. Now that we have all of our panels siliconed into our sump, we want to let this sit and cure for at least 24 hours. Then we're going to do a leak test on each chamber. Well, our 24 hours is up. Now it's time to do a water test and make sure that our panels are going to hold water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some water into this area right here to start out with, and I'm going to check and make sure that there's no leaks. Then I'm going to go on to the next chamber and the next chamber. Hopefully I can do this without making a big mess. You want to add the water carefully so that you don't splash it up onto the other side of the dividing panel. Otherwise you're not going to know if it leaks or not. Just want to add enough water right up to the top of the panel. Well, you can see here down on the bottom of the chamber there's a small little puddle forming. It's growing gradually larger, so that means that we have a leak in this panel. Now if you have a leak, what you have to do is drain the water out of the chamber, make sure that the chamber is totally dry, and then reseal it with silicone and wait another 24 hours for it to cure, and then check it again. Alright, I resealed this section over here and we're leak free on that chamber, so now it's time to install the bulkhead. Okay, we have our bulkhead fitting, to which I glued a 1-inch piece of PVC elbow tube, and to that I have a piece of 1-inch PVC that I have cut some slots in on my saw. Attach this on here like so. This is a pretty tight fit, so I don't need to glue these pieces. Onto the end of that I will attach a cap, and then this whole assembly gets installed into our sump. Put the nut on. You just want to make sure that you snug this up. You don't want to get it too tight to where you crack the glass. And then to that we will glue our piece of 1-inch PVC that's been put onto our piece of flex hose here. I like to put the flex hose onto the PVC first and then glue that into the bulkhead versus having the piece of PVC glued onto the bulkhead and then trying to wrestle the piece of flex hose onto the bulkhead, because you risk cracking the glass. Alright, so that completes the build of our sump. All we need to do now is install it underneath the tank. The total cost of this project, minus the price of the protein skimmer, was under $100. And every penny that you can save with a do-it-yourself project is more money that you can spend on fish and corals. I hope that you found this video to be informative and enjoyable. And until next time, happy reefing!